spooky season watching any scary movies? Put up any Halloween decorations?
Not really. I'm too much of a Scrooge, I guess.
Aw.
I don't know.
You
I
don't
watched
like Halloween?
no, I do. I was like, it's probably
Okay.
one of my favorite times of the year, but it's like I don't get into it as much as like y'all do. I watched that what was it? That one movie you recommended me a while back, the Lake Mungo, I think it was.
Yeah,
That was
I do
good.
like that one.
I,
Did
I
you
was
stay for the post-credit scene?
yes. I was
Okay.
I was like I was like you. I was like, this is a horror film. Like this, it doesn't feel like one. And I also like how at the end of the movie, it's like spoilers, I guess, if you really care about it. But like, it's just like they point out all the stuff that was like, oh, it's like, oh, she was actually there the whole time type thing in the things or whatever, and they just kept like not seeing it or whatever things. I love how I saw all those in the movie, like when the scene was supposed to come out, and you were supposed to be looking at something completely different.
Bullshit.
I kept
no
seeing
way.
it.
No way.
I was like,
bullshit.
well,
Nobody's done that.
I saw the opposite of what I was supposed to see the entire time. That's what confused the hell out of me. I'm like, wait, what was I supposed to be looking at the whole time then? That's what I kept saying. That's what I kept saying to myself.
Because I remember the first time I watched that, I was scanning these scenes and I was like, oh, is that the ghost? And they were like, oh, well, no, that's something else. That's not a ghost. And it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, I guess there was no ghost. It was this weird psychological thing or whatever the fuck happened. She meets up with herself in the desert, and then that post-credit scene comes up, and all the hairs on the back of my neck stand up.
Yeah. No, it was good though.
Yeah,
it was a different take on that sort of like horror, but it was good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, but other than that, I haven't really watched much. I guess there's a few movies that I was like my recent like I guess horror films or whatever have been kind of just like Red Web has what they call their movie club or whatever, where they're just watching a bunch of like horror movies for the month.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, oh, whatever they were gonna do or whatever, so that way I can like listen to their synopsis of it. I haven't watched the first one though. Have you ever watched The Descent?
Yes, multiple times.
Yeah, that was the first one they did, and I was just like, huh, that sounds interesting.
Love The Descent. Have you seen The Descent?
I have not.
Oh my god, so good.
So, yeah, I was like, other than that, I was like, no, don't really care to go just watch like a bunch of horror films, I guess.
Which is fair.
Figure we should probably do an intro, right?
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to another episode of It Never Ends. I'm Andrew. Over there is my good buddy Alex. How you doing today?
I'm doing just fine.
Nice.
Since we're already on the subject of spooky season, how about we start with Silent Hill 2?
Yeah.
Because I'd like to eat shit real quick. Admit I was very wrong about this game. Something I didn't know that I learned as this game came out, basically, is the original director for Silent Hill 2 apparently wanted to have the kind of free camera that they had in this remake.
Yeah.
And they just didn't, have the tech for it back then. Same thing with a lot of the restrictions that game must have faced. Like the draw distance restrictions also that made the fog so scary initially.
Mm-hmm.
But everything I've seen of this game makes it look... It looks really, really good, and it feels just as, from the few clips that I've seen, just as atmospheric as the original game. So I'm glad to see that, at least from what I've seen, it looks like they've pulled off what I initially thought to be the impossible. So, good on Blooper Team.
Yeah. It was one of those things where it's like, I get what you were like. I get what we were like. And like we talked about like last podcast or whatever, it was just like...
Yeah.
I was like, we see it, and I'm like, I don't know. It's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, you don't really get... You can look at it and, nitpick it or whatever, but until you actually see it and play it, it's like, it's hard to tell, right?
Yeah. My biggest issue was that it's different, and... regardless of like how faithful an adaptation it is going to feel different because of the way just by the way that you experience the game. and I just wasn't sure if that was going to work or not, and it looks like it has. Currently on Steam, it has an overwhelmingly positive reception.
Nice.
So I am very happy to see that this game got an actually good remake.
So should we be excited for more Silent Hill stuff then? That's the hard part,
Depends.
Right? I was like, that's a tough one, right?
The Silent Hill game that they put out, like the Silent Hill streaming thing that they did, that was really, really bad. I don't remember even what it was called, like Silent Hill: The Descent or something like that. It was called
Something like that.
So, be cautiously optimistic.
I think that's a good way of putting it. It's like cautiously optimistic.
There's a lot of good Silent Hill stuff out there. There's also a lot of crap.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I feel like that was the same for like Resident Evil though. It's like it's like, yeah, they were eating good there for a while or whatever, and then like, you know, after Resident Evil 4 or whatever, it's like 5 wasn't very good. 6 was never happened. And then 7 was the return to form for it.
Then you forgot about Umbrella Corps.
Oh, I did forget about Umbrella Corps. You're right. Fuck.
There was one other
game in there. Yeah.
Like every series that's been going on that long for like survival horror, especially, it has its ups and downs.
It's true.
But just gotta hope that it's on the up, kind of like how Resident Evil is.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I wanted to say. I
do wonder, like, it's like, it just kind of breaching off. It's like, where does like Resident Evil go from here? It's like I feel like they're in a very good spot. Like, Village was very good or whatever. RE4 remake was very good. Like, pretty much a lot of the Resident Evil stuff in recent days has been very good. So it's like, do we go 9 at this point, and then just keep going with that formula or whatever? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Village was really, really good. It's like, where else do you go from there? It's like there's no real games that they can remake at this point.
Yeah, so. Exactly. It's like you've remade all the games. It's like, what? Oh, you're going to make a Resident Evil 5 remake, Resident Evil 6 remake? You're just going to go back and redo those games entirely? Sure, I guess. But why?
I guess they could remake Resident Evil 5 then. Maybe go back to 6 and completely redo it and, like, completely revamp the story.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, at that point, you just make another game.
Everything else. Yeah.
It's like, why make a bad game good when you could just make a whole new game?
Just go to Resident Evil 6 being like, okay, this is the actual Resident Evil 6. That other Resident Evil 6, doesn't exist.
Never happened.
They can replace it on Steam.
Yeah, you're right. No, I kind of feel like you need to have like, oh, here's what the original 6 was. It was ass, but here's what it should have been. So it's like, I don't know. It's like you got to keep the original out there just to remind people, yeah, this was really bad, and we have to remind ourselves that this was bad.
Instead of Resident Evil 6 remake, they title it Good Resident Evil 6.
The Resident Evil 6, the real one. Yeah. Totally, 100%. Could totally do that. What other like Silent Hill projects did they have? I know they announced a bunch of them when they announced the Silent Hill 2 remake. I don't remember what they were though.
Let's take a look. Ascension was the terrible one. Then they have something called Silent Hill: The Short Message. What the fuck is that?
I have no idea.
Huh. I guess it's a free game that was put on the PS5. I don't know anything about that.
Oh, I remember hearing about that, yeah.
Then there's Silent Hill Project F. Whatever that is. I think that's the Japanese one.
Oh, yeah, I remember a short message now.
And nothing. That's it.
Yeah, I was just curious. I was like, I know they announced a few things around that time, so I was like curious. So.
Oh, Silent Hill Townfall, developed by No Code. published by Annapurna. So it's just those two games right now.
Nice.
Okay. Silent Hill Original Sin. I don't even know what that is.
Who knows? I was just curious. So, yeah, I guess Silent Hill's looking good. So that's a good sign, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll play it.
It's completely fine.
Yeah.
You have a lot on your list already.
Yeah. Dude, and then fucking, I was like, the day we're recording this or whatever, the Backyard Baseball comes out tomorrow, and I'm like, hell yeah.
Nice.
I'm excited just to like fucking sit there and have nostalgia overload, because it will happen.
Dude, I fucking forgot that they had that they were bringing back Backyard Baseball. That's so high.
I mean, it's just the old game or whatever, but on Steam with like stat tracking and stuff.
Let's hang on. That's still
It's
pretty cool.
It's still good. It's still very good, and that's really all I could ask for.
I'm willing to bet that they're gauging to see what the interest is.
Oh, probably.
So if it does really well, maybe maybe we'll actually get a sequel then.
That'd be awesome. Wonder if they'll do what they did with like some of those old backyard games or whatever, where it was they just threw in like kid versions of like famous athletes or whatever. Like I remember they had like Derek Jeter, Barry Bonds on there for like the baseball games. There was a few others. I can't remember who they were though. But I remember football had I think there was a Peyton Manning and like a Tom Brady, if I'm not mistaken. At one point, right. I don't know. I never really played the backyard football games. Played the basketball games, which I know had like LeBron James for one, had like Kevin Durant or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All I know is you always pick the king. Pick the king, Pablo Sanchez, baby. He's the smallest guy, but man, is he the best? He's gonna be the best guy on the field. That's all I know.
So do you want to quick go over the clock just one more time before we move on to Magic, or?
Yeah, let's. Don't you want the Alarmo for the Nintendo Alarmo for $100? Wake up to all those Mario and Zelda and whatever else sounds and stuff. You don't want to pay $100 for an alarm clock?
No.
It's fair.
Does anybody? So do you know anybody that still has like a dedicated alarm clock and just doesn't use the alarm clock on their phone?
Other than my parents, but they're old, so I would say I wouldn't even count them. No.
Like, who is this even for?
I don't.
Like we talked about kids maybe, but first off, like, what? I guess if you wanted to get an alarm clock for a kid, why would you shill out $100 for one? Just get like a $10 one from SpongeBob alarm clock from Target and call it a day, man.
Yeah.
I simply don't understand. It's like, oh, it's digital. You get updates for some reason.
Yeah, it looks like a very shittily made alarm clock, along with like. I don't even know, man.
Dude, and they have that thing where it's like, oh, they give you like a bunch of coin noises or like a round of applause or whatever whenever you get up out of bed, and it's like I would feel. So whenever I get out of bed, I'm always like really moody and pissed off on mornings when I have to use an alarm clock, right?
Yeah.
So like the alarm goes off and it's like, God damn it, I have to fucking get out of bed now. Hear a bunch of random Mario noises, and as soon as I get up, they're like, yeah, I would be just ready to pick that thing up, throw it across the room. It's like, don't you fucking patronize me.
Right. It's like, oh, every time you move, every time you stir, it's going to make a noise to really just try and wake you up faster. And I go, what?
I don't want it to do that.
What?
I don't I don't know.
Yeah, it's between Pokemon Sleep and now this, Nintendo for whatever reason just really loves to watch people sleep. It's like they love looking at the sleep habits of its customers for some reason. I don't know why. Does anyone know why?
I don't know why either. No.
That's what I feel. I was like, it's like why do you care about how we sleep?
Nintendo just wants to edge itself into every point of our lives, I think.
I think that's a good point.
Just you wait. Eventually, they're going to make their own version of the George Foreman grill.
The Mario grill.
As it's cooking, it makes Legend of Zelda noises or whatever.
Yeah, it makes like the sounds for when you're like cooking in Breath of the Wild or something like that.
The Nintendo Grillo.
Might as well be. I mean, they had the Labo not that long ago when it was all it was just cardboard.
Dude, imagine Nintendo starts producing pre-built gaming PCs.
That'll be the day.
Start putting their games on Steam.
That's where we find out that Nintendo Switch 2 is actually just a PC.
Dude, imagine how shitty it would be there being Nintendo goes, we're going to put our games on PC, but only if it's one of our branded PCs.
Oh my god, dude.
It's like they sell like a 4090 PC that has like a special slot where you put in the Nintendo games.
That's it. Man, the thing is, I wish I could say there's no way they would do something like that. At this point, they're making a fucking alarm clock. Who knows what they'll do?
That sounds like a thing that they would do.
Abso-fucking-lutely it does.
And people would buy them is the problem.
Oh, abso-fucking-lutely they would. It's like, being able to play Mario on my PC or whatever. And I was like, that'd be so cool.
We just have to buy a whole new PC.
Yeah. Oh man, that is an. Ooh. No, sir.
Did I just give you the willies talking about that?
I just that idea. It's just like I said. It's like I wish I could say, there's no way they would do that, and I'm like, man, anything could fucking happen.
There's absolutely a way they would do that.
Anything could fucking happen at this point. Who knows what could happen at this point? Ugh. Fucking alarm clock. Out of all the things that you can announce in Nintendo, everyone's waiting on the Switch 2 announcement or whatever, and you put out a fucking alarm clock? What the shit?
Dude, they released a vacuum cleaner that's Luigi's Mansion themed.
I'm surprised that's not already a thing.
I'm surprised too.
I wonder how much it would take to make an actual vacuum cleaner like that. Maybe that's why they don't do it. Like, is it not worth the cost and the shipping and stuff like that? Probably.
We can't connect the vacuum cleaner to the internet and give it free updates.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like, how do you theme a vacuum cleaner despite it just being, aside from it just being a well-functioning vacuum cleaner?
I don't know. Do you think they get into too much trouble with like from whoever owns the Ghostbusters or whatever, and it's like, oh my god, you're just making the fucking whatever they're called, the like little backpack things that like suck up the ghosts or whatever.
The proton pack.
Proton pack, yeah, that's what they call them.
I mean, those aren't vacuum cleaners.
But they'll don't worry, they'll work their way around it. It's like, but if it's based off of Luigi's Mansion, that's what you use the ghost thing for. You suck up the ghosts.
If they were gonna sue Nintendo over that, they would have done that
a while ago. You're right.
Yeah, back in like GameCube era, dude.
Yeah, that's true. Whenever the first Luigi's Mansion came out, that's absolutely when they would have done it. You're right.
Man,
you're right.
Imagine if Nintendo comes out being like, "Hey, we're gonna have a direct, and it's gonna announce a new piece of hardware," and everyone gets all hyped, and it's like, "Yeah, we're finally getting the Switch 2," and then they announce a fucking vacuum cleaner and nothing else.
Motherfuckers. It's So I feel like that's what everyone's gonna say. It's like they're gonna get so excited, they're gonna get so hyped or whatever, and then it's like, oh, but yeah, it's just the introducing the Luigi Mansion vacuum. What?
And then they announced nothing else. It's
Exactly.
just that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like they did this. If the fucking 5-minute video showing off the fucking Alarmo, what? And then that's it. Who approved this?
Nintendo, obviously.
Clearly, but like, how many? Okay, realistically, how many alarm clocks do we think are actually going to sell?
Way too many.
Like, are we thinking like a couple 100,000? Are you thinking like 1 million? I don't know.
Just what I needed, an alarm clock with TLC.
Exactly.
Sheer horror of trying to get 5 more minutes of sleep only to be disturbed by Guardian music.
It's just like shut up, shut the fuck. I guarantee you, like one person will have that like, oh, it'll help me get up in the morning or whatever, and they're not a morning person. They're like the people that roll over all the time and just like that, and then they go. It's the classic where they like just slam their fist on it or something like that and break it.
If this is getting Pokemon content, I'm guessing it's at least gonna sell 1 million.
Oh yeah,
copies. How much do you think Nintendo's hoping to sell for this thing?
Who fucking knows? They look like the cheapest thing they probably could have potentially made from it. So
it's $100.
Yeah, and I guarantee it's probably one of the cheapest pieces of shit they've ever made. It looks like just like a basic mold for like a clock with like an LCD screen that's pretty small. I guess like a light on the top and then a charging cord that you plug in on the bottom. And they're selling that for $100. I guarantee that probably goes for just for the raw materials and stuff like that. Maybe $40. Maybe. Might even be less than that when you buy it in bulk.
I think it's got
to be like $20 then, right? Like if you buy it in bulk, I would have to believe that all those raw materials probably run you around. I don't know. I guess you have the Wi-Fi, so that probably bumps it up. Probably bumps it to like $30.
Spending $30 making it. Add Nintendo shit, flip it for $100. Why not, dude?
You spend $30 making it. You get $70 on profit. Then you also charge shipping as well, which will probably be an extra $10 on top of that. So, boom, there you go. And considering it's only shipping in what did they say? What did they say at the end of the video? I think it was like the U.S. and Canada or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's only shipping in North America. Oy, oy, oy. What a time!
So that's fun. Yeah.
Out of all the things, when I was surfing Reddit earlier today on my break, the first thing I would not have seen, I would not have anticipated seeing was an alarm clock made by Nintendo that makes sounds from their games, and also tracks your sleep and your movement when you sleep to see if you're actually doing it. So again, Nintendo has some of the weirdest, just random data laying around on their servers, I guess, where they just have a bunch of everyone's just sleeping habits. That's concerning.
Yeah, that's. I don't even know what to say to this, dude.
Yeah, it's a time.
Fucking stupid.
It's a time. I like how what you said when I was first telling you about it. I was like, this feels like a dystopian future. You're so right.
Because it's implementing like the brand into every piece of your life, right? It's like you eat Nintendo, you sleep Nintendo, and now you wake up with Nintendo.
I feel like Disney and Nintendo are trying really hard to do that.
Yeah. I am very much not a fan of this at all. Wake your way. Learn about the time you've spent in bed, like how much you've been moving around into your sleep. Why would you want to know that? Is that important? Is that like a thing that your doctor needs to know?
It's one of those things where it's like I feel like as you get older, it's more important to track your sleep or whatever because it's like, are you getting restful sleep or whatever? It's like when you get older, you tend to like I don't know for at least me and my family or whatever. It's where we develop sleep apnea. So you need to get those what are they called? The machines you put on your face. What are those things?
Yeah.
CPAP.
Mm-hmm.
Like you need to get a CPAP machine or whatever to stop yourself from so you're not actually like suffocating yourself when you sleep.
Oh, that's good. Your Nintendo alarm clock can
it'll tell you how you're sleeping.
You have CPAP or not.
Yeah. It's not like the doctors will probably still. Well, we need to like observe you overnight, so we'll just have you sleep in this area or whatever, and we'll have our own things have it. But my Nintendo Alarmo said it needed to happen. No, well, we need to do this in an official fashion.
But Nintendo Alarmo said so.
But Alarmo said so. I don't know. It's like if I feel like for most people, it's like you can kind of tell when you sleep. You sleep pretty well in the night or whatever. If you wake up really still super tired and groggy, I feel like you probably didn't sleep very very well at all.
Yeah.
It's just
so
general thought process there.
I get it. Does that mean this thing is meant for adults then? Is that what this is?
Dude, I couldn't fucking tell you, man. Like, it feels like they're advertising it towards like an older group where it was just like, oh, wake up to all the Nintendo sounds from all your favorite games.
What self-respecting grown man is going to put this in their living room?
Like, could you? Okay, real fast. It's like you're like we're both single dudes or whatever. We bring home a lady or whatever, and she sleeps over or something like that, and she hears when she wakes up the fucking Alarmo just making like Mario coin sounds and like I don't even know what else, but like you just start hearing a bunch of sounds like that, and she's looking over like going, what the fuck is this dude?
Yeah, I woke up on time. It has the cheering noise. Thanks, babe. That was a good fuck. I'm glad my Alarmo.
I'm glad the Alarmo logged me having sex.
Check it out. Let's see how the
heart rate was going crazy in the early parts of the night. Oh man. Now that's the data I'd like to see.
Yep. That's right, babe. Our fuck session got sent to Nintendo.
Baby. Hell yeah.
For analysis.
This suddenly got way worse.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, that wouldn't be good. It'd be like...
Yeah, that'd be a time.
It's like bringing a girl over and then putting on your SpongeBob jammies next to your fucking Nintendo Alarmo.
Well, especially if it's just like, oh, you bring over a girl and she has like no interest in gaming or doesn't really know it, and you go, what the hell is happening?
Okay, that is the one scenario that I could think of. If the girl is really, really into Nintendo,
oh yeah, if she's really into it, she'll love it. But like,
yeah.
But if you go like, and she has no idea, you're going, what the fuck is going on? What is this? Is he a little kid? I don't know. It is.
No, it's my Nintendo Alarmo. It's there. I need to know if I have CPAP.
I need to know if I've got some sleep apnea and need to go to the doctor, or if I'm moving around or rolling around too much at night. 9
out of 10 doctors recommend Nintendo Alarmo.
God, could you imagine? Could you imagine that all of a sudden they say that and they're like, "Oh yeah, to track your sleep, you should get a Nintendo Alarmo." Oh my God.
All right, so you say you've been having some restless nights. We need to track your sleep, so I'm going to prescribe you Nintendo Alarmo.
It's perfect. It's perfect. It writes itself.
Oh my God, this thing's so fucking stupid.
Oh yeah. No matter how you look at it, it just goes like, there's no way they sell 1 million of these, right? There's just no fucking way. Like,
no, they're going to. They're 100% going to.
but just in North America?
Yes, 100% easily.
I hate Nintendo so much.
Then in 5 years, they're gonna know. No, we love Nintendo. They're not as shitty as every other game company. So yes.
That's.
And in 5 years, it sucks that we have to.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah. Then in 5 years, they're gonna announce the Nintendo Alarmo OLED.
No, they announced the Nintendo CPAP machine, so that way when you're breathing, it makes you sound like you're Mario as you sleep. Okay, real fast. Going back to our scenario of the the girl stays the night, that you go have some sex, you having some sex or whatever, and all of a sudden you hear Mario going, oh yeah,
Yippee!
yippee! Could you imagine?
She wakes up hearing that, and then
No, not even like in the middle. No, in the middle of sex, it's just like all of a sudden you hear that, and you go, what the fuck?
Well, why would your alarm be going off in the middle of
No,
sex?
but it's sensing movement, so it's just going, yeah, yippee!
Jesus. No, wait. You set the alarm so you know it's fuck time. It's like you hear the alarm go off, and it's like, you hear that, babe? That means it's time to fuck.
It's time to fuck.
Thanks, Nintendo Alarmo.
Thanks for letting me know I need to get my rocks off.
Can you name the alarms in this? I wonder.
Oh, I'm sure
so it's
you
just
can.
Like the alarm goes off, and you just see on the screen pound time, and it's Mario doing a little dance while the fucking Mario Odyssey theme plays.
Oh man,
I'd pay $100 for that. Why not?
oh man, that is something. All right, enough of that.
All right, so
This shit writes itself, though. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm crying because I was laughing so fucking hard. Oh, all right. Moving past that piece of shit. Something we failed to talk about last week that we were meaning to talk about was all the stuff that's been happening with Wizard of the Coast and the Commander format.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm actually kind of glad we didn't, because more developments happened as a result of it. But it's just like, Jesus, it's a time. So for anyone that isn't not in the Magic the Gathering scene or anything like that, or doesn't play Commander or something like that, just give you a quick synopsis. So there's a rules committee, or at least there was a rules committee, that would handle like banning of cards in the Commander, because what the idea was, it was that the Commander was supposed to be like a fun format. I mean, it is, but but it's just like there are some cards that just straight hurt the format because they were just so powerful as a result of that. So there's only been a few cards in reality that have ever been banned on this by the rules committee, but we just got 4 more that kind of broke the camel's back a little bit. Now, 3 of these probably shouldn't be here. Nadu absolutely 100% should have been there, and was, because if you know the fucking card Nadu, what is it? Nadu, the Winged Wisdom or whatever, the card's busted. It was busted. It's just straight up. Just I don't know what they were thinking. But yeah, so they banned Dockside Extortionist, which is a 2-mana red that says when it enters the battlefield, create a treasure token where X is the number of artifacts and enchantments by your opponent's control. AKA, if your opponents control a bunch of artifacts, you just create a bunch of mana rocks, which you can sacrifice to get a fuckload of mana. And this is a repeatable effect to bounce it and everything like that. It gets out of hand with Dockside Extortionist. It's why it was a $40 card. But the big one, I feel like being Mana Crypt and Jeweled Lotus. It's like both similar-ish effects. or whatever. Mana Crypt has been around for fucking ages at this point. So,
Oh yeah.
and it's like Jewel Lotus fairly recently, but it got banned in the only game mode that it's available to play in. It was made specifically for Commander, and now it is banned in Commander as a result of it. And I think that is just the silliest thing imaginable.
It is. Yeah, it is completely ridiculous that one got banned.
I get what the rules committee was trying to do, because their idea, and again, remember, the rules committee is made up of a bunch of volunteers, people, like there are content creators, like love the Commander format, will most likely make YouTube content off it, type thing, and they've been basically the ones that determine what Commander should be like, basically. And they say, and what they like to do it is they like to form it as anywhere from a 10 to 12 turn thing when you're playing a 4-man game, which usually you're doing. They thought that cards like Mana Crypt and Jeweled Lotus were speeding up the game and giving an unfair advantage to the one or two people that would draw it into the early game and be able to play it, and then just, ramp into your big, powerful cards earlier than anyone else, and then just run away with the game. My only problem with that is that there is another card that is in 95, if not 98% of all Commander decks, and we all know what it is. It's Sol Ring. Yeah. If we're going under the concept that we're trying to slow down the game, or we're trying to not let players just utterly with general ramp cards into the late game, leaving everyone else in the dust, why the hell is Sol Ring not? And I know their argument is going. I know their argument was going to be, well, everyone runs Sol Ring, but what if you don't draw it? You got 99 cards. You got 99 cards in the deck. You can only run one Sol Ring. The chances are you're not going to draw it.
I think one of the I get where you're coming from. In the case with like Mana Crypt, at least, it's like Sol Ring, in terms of like, aside from just like basic lands and magic, Sol Ring is probably the easiest, most accessible card there is in the game.
Yes,
like every single Commander deck has a copy of Sol Ring.
They run in precons and everything like that now.
You can find them for pennies on the dollar basically anywhere.
They're still like $1, $2.
Oh well.
Either way, they're still a pretty cheap card compared to like Mana Crypt and Jeweled Lotus. I mean, they were $120 last I checked, but like pretty much both of them were. I have no idea what there are now.
So I get they do want to slow the game. So I think what they're trying to do is hit like the most problematic cards. Like Jeweled Lotus, like that's obviously like it was an $80 card, and Mana Crypt, obviously you can't get a copy of that for like less than $100 normally.
I will say, since it got banned, I see the prices are lower. Holy shit! Yeah, Jeweled Lotus. Jeweled Lotus went way down. Mm-hmm. It's like Jeweled Lotus was 120. As like I see, you can get one here for like $55.
The lowest one that I'm seeing is
lowest I'm seeing is at like 70. Like there's one that's like for 55 here, but otherwise it'd be like $70.
And obviously they can't. They want to find ways of slowing the game down, but they also just can't ban all the fast mana cards. So it's like, where do we want to make these cuts and take these hits?
I get what you're saying, but it's like at the same time I'm sitting here going just like, this is where I think
Jeweled Lotus does feel like a weird one, though.
Jeweled Lotus is like I said, it was made specifically for Commander, and it is banned in the only format that it's available in now. It's literally a dead card at this point. And I think that's just the dumbest thing. Now I get, and I understand what the rules committee is trying to do here. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it's just like, but at the same time, I'm sitting here going just like, but these are CEDH cards. That's my only thing here is that a majority of the people that play Commander,
a competitive Commander at least, are gonna
like casual Commander. Anyway. Yeah. It's like anyone that plays Commander just casually goes to like their local game store on like Wednesdays or whatever day is the Commander day or something like that. I know for Mox, I think it's on Wednesdays. That's our local game store that we like to go to. Yeah. So I know they have Commander Wednesdays or whatever, and it's like, it's like most people there, I feel like, are just casual players. Like, they have decks I think they would consider to be like good, but not, great or anything like that. It's like, I feel like there's probably a table or two that's probably just like, oh yeah, we're going to play like tens basically and just see who can, and play CEDH. Mm-hmm. And that's my whole thought process is that if people want to spend this money to make their decks powerful to keep up with CEDH, they should be allowed to, basically. And it's like, and it comes down to knowing the people you're playing with and knowing and understanding. It's like when you sit down at a table to play a commander deck, it's like, okay, mm-hmm. How powerful should our decks be? Like you're always gonna have those bad players or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, my deck's a 7. It's like, no, and it's clearly much higher than that. But it's like, just stop playing with those people,
Yeah.
So it's just like, don't do that. I don't know. It's like, if you play the game long enough, you understand what makes decks good, and whatever. It's like with how many guides there are and decks you can copy as well.
In Magic, it's really, really hard to bridge the gap between competitive and casual in Commander, because the gap is just so big, and a lot of people aren't going to make that transition. It's like either you're playing Commander for fun and you have like a 6-7 deck, or you have like a 9-10 deck that you poured, hundreds of thousands of dollars into that you're using for tournaments and shit. Mm-hmm. It's like there's really not a whole lot of in between there.
It's like there's not many decks that will run Mana Crypt and like Jeweled Lotus or whatever, mm-hmm. that will see casual play, if you ask me.
No, absolutely not.
Or at least there shouldn't be.
So what they should be doing is regulating for, high-level play, in which, why are these cuts being made to begin with when they've been, so common in basically every deck ever, basically.
Well, it's like, and this also goes to where.
Do you think this also might have something to do with the fact that they're both 0 drops? I just noticed that.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, that is 100% why. It's that you can drop them down for no mana. You play a land, you drop down the Mana Vault or whatever, you drop down the Jeweled Lotus. Assuming that your commander is 1 or 2 colors, because that's basically what Jeweled Lotus is going to really, shine. If it's like a 4-mana commander that's 2 colors or whatever, you play down a land, you play down the Jeweled Lotus, you use the Jeweled Lotus to get 3 mana of the 1 color for the 1 color, and then pay the 1 other color, and you have a turn 1 commander. Depending on what that commander is, like Nadu, for example, that's really powerful.
Yeah.
And that's the main reason why it is banned. That is banned. And again, I get that, but if it's for CEDH, and this is where I always have to say, it's like, I don't want Magic to become like Yu-Gi-Oh! Is what I'm trying to get at. Yu-Gi-Oh's whole metagame is based around the ban list, basically. They don't have different formats or anything like that. They just have the one gameplay or whatever, and that determines what cards are good, and any card that's too good is just banned and never used again. If Magic starts doing this process by banning all of these really powerful level cards, starting with Jeweled Lotus, starting with Mana Crypt, going to something like Mana Vault, going to like with One Ring or anything like that, and it's like all these big cool cards that were meant to be, powerhouses, are just banned because we don't like playing against them now all of a sudden. It's not a good way to do it.
No, I agree that's not a good way to do it. I cannot foresee Magic becoming like Yu-Gi-Oh!
I'm not saying it will, but it's my worry.
I know, I get that. Can I real quick just explain? Because the power balancing in Yu-Gi-Oh! We've known this is fucked. It is completely fucked.
Not wrong on that.
There is no back and forth in that game at all. There's games end in 2 to 5 minutes. The combos are crazy, and basically every time a new set comes out, a new meta is born, because they have this crazy new class or faction or whatever that can do this insane shit. It's like, oh, this card is not affected by card effects. Destroy everything your opponent has. This effect cannot be countered. It's like insane shit like that. And then Konami, because they're dicks, will print all the really good cards in like super high rarities. So everyone has to drop like $1,000 on a new deck every couple months. The problem with Yu-Gi-Oh is that if you're trying to, I'm just gonna be frank. If you're trying to play competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, you're a stupid asshole.
Yeah.
The fuck is wrong with you?
I mean, you're basically explaining the main reasons why a lot of people have stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh, or like people have stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh in recent years, especially.
Oh, I remember when I built a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh deck. I spent a couple $100 on that fucking Zodiac deck, and it's like, a couple months later, links are out. Oh, and all these good cards that they had are banned. Cool. Well, that's hundreds of dollars down the fucking drain. Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. I'm so glad I invested in that. I remember it was like Zodiac Barrage or whatever. I spent like $50 on a single copy, and I bought 3 of them. Like a month later, they went down like 10 cents. The card economy and the power balancing in Yu-Gi-Oh is so fundamentally broken. Wizards are gonna have to try really hard to get that bad. So we just gotta hope that they don't start going down that direction.
But here's the thing: is that these cards will follow suit with the same thing what you just said. It's like that Magic, or that Yu-Gi-Oh banned the Zodiac cards, so AKA the Zodiac cards went down in price. Jewel Lotus, Manic Crypt, and Dockside Extortionist will go down in price because they will not be available in the format they are most known for. And a lot of people weren't happy about that. And it's like, look, don't ever fucking death threat people for a fucking game, ever. But it's like I can understand some of the hate or whatever, or just like the frustration. Yeah. But never to that point. Never, ever, ever to that point. It's like, voice your frustration, yes. Don't just send death threats. Don't do that. That's why a lot of people up and quit the rules committee, and why Wizards is just now taking it over as a result of that. It's like, because it's like Wizards can't unban these cards now. That just shows that, if you harass them enough, they're going to win. So these cards are now just basically banned for a while, if they even come unbanned ever, which I think is crazy.
Yeah.
But it's like, you think it's like, I know they announced that, there's no future plans for, banning of other cards or whatever, but it's like, everyone thought the One Ring should be hit.
Just for now, yeah.
I know. Everyone thinks that the One Ring should be hit. I agree with it. The One Ring is a very, very powerful card, especially in the Commander format or whatever. And you see they're going just like, so are they just going to start banning cards because they lost the spirit of the game? Like, that was the whole thing of like why you had a rules committee to begin with, was that, goddamn, is that Wizards couldn't, like, it was people who played the format, enjoyed the format, felt like that they had a general concept of the best way to play it, and have tried to not ban cards as much as possible as a result of it. But there's a few that were just completely busted and breaking the game and everything like that. So they had to do some. The worst thing that can happen here is that Wizards just fundamentally starts changing the Commander format. Just starts banning cards left and right, thinking that it'll be the best thing for the format, for the game itself. And it's like, that's not what anyone wants. It's like, what we basically want is, and I get that the rules committee is still, like they've talked about, it's like it's still going to be there. They're still going to consult with them type thing. It's not like they're just up and foregoing it or whatever. But it's like, if that is the case and Wizards is basically just taking the full brunt of whenever, stuff like this happens, sure.
What they need to do is understand why the bans that have been made so far have been made, and
100%.
try to act accordingly in the future. Because I think more so than any other bands before. These are some of the biggest ones that we've seen.
You and back to my point is that if you ban just like 2 cards that jump you ahead in mana, you should just ban them all at that point. Ban Soul Ring. People have been clamoring for Soul Ring to finally get banned because it is that powerful card that can just jump you up in price. Like
they're never gonna ban Soul Ring.
I understand that because it is a cheap card, but in essence, fundamentally, it should be banned. It's
I agree with you.
It's in my
it out there.
Yeah. No, and you're not wrong. I 100% agree. I don't think Soul Ring will ever be banned, and I don't know. I will just always have a problem with it. It's not a fundamentally broken card. It is just a powerful card, and for anyone that can get it on turn 1 or whatever, it's just. I mean, the best turn 1 basically for even casual commander is you play a land, play Soul Ring, tap the Soul Ring for Arcane Signet, and there you go. You turn 1, you have 4 mana.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, that doesn't happen that often. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't happen that often, and that's why it's not inherently broken.
Mm-hmm.
It's just powerful if you do get it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we're very much in the wait and see.
It is concerning, but I think your sentiment of Wizards take note and why these bans were not great. Take note of why this happened and stuff like that, and learn accordingly. I think that was a perfect summary from that.
Oh yeah, I real quick want to go over the Halo stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about Halo then.
It's interesting. That's
so
quick.
Just quickly go over all the Halo stuff because we kind of did it before the podcast.
So basically what's going on is 343 is going under a big restructuring. They completely are redoing their leadership structure with a lot of the ones that they have in Infinite right now. Like a lot of them are previous like Master Chief Collection guys that are working on it. They're renaming it to Halo Studios. They're hiring a whole bunch of new people. They're moving from their in-house split space engine, Slip Space. I can't talk today, sorry. To Unreal Engine 5, so when they bring contractors in, they can hit the ground running and they all know what they're doing. I just hope they don't rely too much on contractors like they have before.
Yeah.
And apparently, not just one, but there are multiple new Halo projects that are in the works, which is interesting. Hopefully one of them is a sequel to ODST.
Yeah.
Fucking finally.
Didn't you tell me the other day that like Halo is getting its own like Helldivers mode?
Oh yeah, that's a fan made thing though. That's
is it?
Oh yeah, that's something that someone made in Forge. Weirdly enough. But,
I was like, I'm surprised that Halo is just like, oh, they're just calling it they're just Helldivers, huh?
No, it's a group of like really dedicated forgers that managed to make Helldivers in Halo's Forge mode.
Wow.
Lets you know how powerful that tool is, but
yeah.
So that's coming in the next couple days to Infinite, but the thing that gives me hope when it comes to this is not only is Unreal Engine 5 a much easier engine to work with, I assume, than Slipspace, but the Halo Infinite team as it is right now is actually quite good. It's the same people that did the Master Chief Collection, and they roll out updates all the time. Updates, events, new armors, new battle passes, new maps that they're adding to the game constantly. So they're the right people to be working on Halo, I think. I'm not going to get, overly optimistic because I always regret it when I do that with Halo, but I'm keeping my hopes up that they can turn this into a flagship franchise again. Nice. Man, oh man, has Halo had a rough couple of years.
It really has. Like, I was like, I'm always like, it was just like, man, it's really hard to like. It's like Infinite. It was like when it came out, it was like they came out or whatever, and it was like it was all right, and then it kind of just didn't have any updates for the longest time, and a lot of people dropped off from it, and then Forge finally came out, and I feel like for the people that were really interested to do Forge, hopped back in. But
it experienced another bubble once it like updates started coming more constantly. The problem is that it should have just been that way from the beginning.
Exactly.
And I feel like if that is what happened, we wouldn't have experienced that big drop off.
Probably.
And I'm hoping that this is a lesson that they will learn moving forward, but with 343 or Halo Studios now, it's like, you can never tell.
Yeah. It's another one of those. We'll wait and see.
Yep. Hopes are high.
Yeah. I mean, it at least shows that, like, Microsoft isn't. I mean, obviously, I don't think they would ever just give up on Halo, considering it was the thing that made Halo or made the Xbox. But you were concerned for how much they were going to invest into the Halo franchise following Infinite.
I was. It is. It's still, even with all the problems and all the rough years, it's still one of my favorite franchises.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, it's like it's hard to imagine Xbox giving up on it because. It's their Mario. It's their Kratos. It's like their flagship character. It's like you can't just get rid of this franchise.
Yeah.
Though it was difficult considering like the state of Xbox and where that company is going. It's like, well, what do I even think of that brand anymore? But
I mean, granted, it's just like the thing is like especially with Halo if you're an old school fan like yourself, it's like what Halo is. You're excited for when Halo comes out or whatever. But if you're like a young kid now, you have no concept of what Halo is. You don't have Halo, the Halo 2, Halo 3 days to hang your hat on.
You weren't nostalgic for all those old games, so it's like they need to make this franchise exciting again, and I'm hoping one of these new franchises can do that.
Yeah. It's like just make a game that will that will draw interest and just generally look good to bring in, a whole new group of, players and everything like that. And it's like then I think Halo will start hitting its stride once again.
All it takes is one good game.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes, just one.
Mm-hmm.
If any of these projects are successful and good, then you're on your way again.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can start bringing this back. But considering the last couple of years from what we've seen of the Halo franchise, kind of like Magic, we're in a wait and see kind of a thing. It's like I'll believe, like things are starting to look up when I see them looking up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like we can get our hopes up now, but it's like won't know until it happens though. So
I'm not gonna pull in Alex with Halo Infinite being like, oh yeah, this is gonna be the best fucking thing ever. We're gonna playing this game forever.
I mean, in reality though, when Halo Infinite was coming out or whatever, it was exciting. Yeah. Like the multiplayer was coming out, like it was the first Halo game in some time. So it was like, it was something to be excited for. Yeah. So I get it. It's like the hype is there, and it's like, oh my god, Halo's back or whatever type thing, and it's like. I get to play it with my friends and everything like that. It's like, yeah. So it's like that kind of excitement needs to be had around and kept that excitement up. It's like Halo, like when Halo Infinite launched, it was like, like I said, people were excited. And then
I remember we had a lot of fun with it too. Yeah.
I was like, first couple weeks or whatever. It's like we'd play it after stream or whatever, or after the podcast, and then then we just had a lot of fun with that. It was good times. I just remember Commence the Kill. You just ram someone straight in with a ghost or whatever, right in front of me.
Shit was so fucking funny.
That was so good. Yeah.
Well, that's all I got.
Yeah, I think we'll call it there. Nice little hour in the recording. Who knows what it'll be after I'm done editing it? But hey, it's pretty nice.
Hey, 45 minutes to an hour is not bad for a podcast.
Anywhere for 55 minutes.
Awesome.
Somewhere in there. So, thank y'all so much for watching and listening to, this, and don't let the Nintendo Alarmo scare you when you're having sex. Got it? All right. Yep. So, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and subscribe on
I'm processing.
Exactly. Spotify or wherever you're listening to this and everything like that. YouTube, there's a nice YouTube channel so you can look at our faces as we talk. And any other links that I have down below in the description. And we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.